Hello, Oracles. Well, we saw a little bit of a pullback in the stock today. Again, this is something we were talking about potentially going into next week with the CPI and PPI coming out. Some fears that the Fed is going to be raising interest rates later this month. So we saw a bit of a pullback. Now, yesterday, we did have a little clip from Elon that came out discussing how he feels that we are going to be reaching full autonomy level 4 or 5 in FSD later this year. But he did have a little caveat in there as well. And then you'll ask, well, why didn't the stock move on this news? Well, we'll get into all of that in just a minute. Well, first things first, we'll jump right into the charts. Again, down just over 2%, closing at 276.54. After hours, down just over 0.5% as well. Now, looking at the charts here, intraday, we dipped down right to the top of this gap. And again, we've been talking about filling this 264.45 gap. That's my thing. Talk about gaps. They fill 9 out of 10 times. And we've got quite a few of them coming down. So my thoughts are we might end up seeing this gap get filled here. Now, again, we've been seeing the RSI cooling off, coming back up. Is this going to be like a dead cat bounce like we've seen in the past? Is this the start of a downward trend? In speaking with Gore, this is the discussion we're having. Is this the downward trend, or are we just going to fill a gap and then move up? My thoughts are we're probably going to fill this gap, and then we'll do just like we did last year is we fill the gap, and then we just pay attention. Do we continue to go down, or are we going to bounce off of that? So really, it's just a waiting game. Nobody knows truly what the future is going to bring. So in anticipating this, I think this gap is going to get filled. Maybe it's tomorrow, maybe not. Looking at the RSI, we did cool off a little bit. We are no longer overbought, but still pretty high at 67.85. On the weekly, we're still high at 69. So it's even higher than the daily. So while it's not overbought, pretty darn close. And another thing that I pay attention to is the fact that what are we seeing in the news that's coming out? Well, I happen to be on TD Ameritrade, and one of the news articles that came up for Tesla was that Zach Kirkhorn sold some stock. For those of you who follow along, very regularly we see many people on the executive team exercising options and then selling those off immediately. This has been a regular occurrence for quite a while now. Anybody who follows the Form 4 filings sees this. Nearly monthly, Drew Baglino comes out with them himself. So this is nothing new. Why is it now becoming prevalent in the news? Well, maybe that is just what we were talking about previously, and we are on some sort of downward trend, and these are going to be the shorts coming out with these articles that are going to be pushing the stock down, making people take pause, making them think, oh, why there must be something negative coming up. The way this article was headlined was Zach Kirkhorn sells shares ahead of Q2 earnings, as if he knows that they're going to have bad earnings and this is why he's selling. He's just exercising options. That's all. And many of the times, these options that they are exercising are already done previously. So they were scheduled previously and they're just happening now. So all of this that's transpiring is a lot of negative news that's coming out that really is no different than what we've already heard before. So again, we're going to get into what Elon said about FSD, and then that'll explain why didn't the stock pop? I think a couple of reasons. One, we're really kind of near the top of this. We've been talking about the RSI. We've been talking about, being in an extreme greed territory. I don't know how many more buyers are going to be coming in right now, especially institutional buyers and big money coming in. We've got Kathy Wood selling shares in her ARK funds. So with all of that going on and potential shorts coming out to push us down, these negative articles coming out to push us down as well, on top of the fact that Elon's kind of like the boy who cried wolf when it comes to FSD being fully solved. He said this many a times in the past, and he does mention that in the interview that he had said it on. But it's like, all right, we've now heard this many times. 2 weeks it'll be here. 2 weeks it'll be here. It's going to be solved by the end of this year. We hear it all the time. But he's now reiterating that. But I think at this point now, when it comes to FSD, many people are just saying, all right, well, show us the money. You could talk your talk all you want, but until you've actually shown us, and many people who are seeing the progress on it understand that this is truly a potential. So I'm not trying to be bearish on this. I do think it's truly a potential. But when you're looking at Wall Street, looking at this, they don't care. They're at the point right now where they just want to see it actually solved versus, hey, we're making more progress or we're closer than we've ever been. So I'll play the clip for you guys right now so you can hear it for yourself.
A Tesla car using the latest full self-driving beta, I almost never need to touch the controls going from one destination to another. Again, this is so much speculation, but I think we will achieve full self-driving, I don't know what level you call it, 4 or 5, I think later this year. So, no, I've been wrong about this prediction in the past, but I feel like we're closer to it than we ever have been.
So again, Elon reiterating that, this is speculation. He has said this before in the past, but he feels that we are closer than we've ever been before. Now, realistically, obviously, as they're making progress every day, theoretically, should be closer than they ever have before. But he already knows that we're looking at version 12, and version 12 will no longer be a beta product. So I'm guessing that he is saying that they're looking at a potential release of version 12 later this year. Now, again, we also have the Cybertruck coming out, and I think he's been trying to time this with the Cybertruck. Obviously, it's two completely different animals, and they're both challenging on their own. So to have them come out at the exact same time is going to be tough. But if they can make that happen and they're going to release a Cybertruck with a fully capable version 12 FSD software in it with hardware 4, that will be that massive game changer that we are all talking about. So obviously, it's not like version 12 is going to come out and that's going to be the be all end all. That's just going to be the beginning of this new level of autonomy that will still continue to grow in that march of nines towards getting us all to fully autonomous vehicles. And again, I think the reason the stock did not move on this, and now he had said this yesterday in an interview, but I think the reason the stock didn't move is because A, we're still in a heavy macro blanket. All of the indices were down today as well, so it's not like Tesla was the only one that was down. And Tesla has been outperforming for a while, so it was due for that pullback and the entire market coming down just with that uncertainty. We saw last year with all of the great news that was going on last year, didn't matter what Tesla said when it was positive, still brought the stock price down. Now, when it comes to fully autonomous vehicles and solving FSD, that might have that feeling of pushing past it. But again, just sort of like the Cybertruck, that news is going to be super exciting, but the ramp on the Cybertruck being slower might kind of make people pull back. FSD being solved is absolutely amazing. But then people are going to get hit in the face with the reality of, well, that's great that Tesla has solved this, but where are the regulations? We don't have regulations that say that we can actually use this in a fully autonomous manner. So yes, it's solved, but now we have to wait for the government to go and regulate this so that we can actually utilize it as it is designed to be. So not spreading FUD, not trying to be bearish or anything like that, just trying to give you guys the realistic perspective of what we could end up seeing when all of this gets released. But again, these are the fundamental pieces that, hey, fundamentally, FSD is solved. We're just waiting on the government, which is an inevitable. So if we get a big boost when it comes to FSD and the stock price goes way up, anybody who's a swing trader may take some profits. Could be a good time to sell and take some profits and then wait for that dip to buy back in again. And if anybody is out there saying, oh, dang, I missed it because it ran up, there's a chance we might get that pullback so you can get back in or you can get back in at a lower price. Again, none of this is financial advice, just my thoughts based upon how I understand how the human psyche works and how emotions get manipulated when it comes to the stock market. Awesome news like this usually pushes a stock price up, and it usually pushes it up a lot further than maybe it should be intentionally because they want people to get that FOMO to buy in, thinking that the stock price is never going to come down again. Then they pull a rug out and then they go in and they take all of that money from unsuspecting retail investors. Retail investors get frustrated and then this basically like highway robbery. So just trying to caution you guys out there. And I know I have some people in the comments who say I'm extremely bearish. I'm super, super, super bullish on Tesla long term. Couldn't be more bullish. Just realistic about the macro environment and what it could do to Tesla along the way. You have to be realistic, folks. Sometimes this happens. Tesla cannot keep going up and up every single day forever. It's going to get pullbacks. It's healthy and it's natural to do that. Just like with health and fitness, it's good to take a break every once in a while. You don't want to beat up your body every single day all the time. Get into some habits, get into some routines, but have a cheat meal here and there. Take a day off from exercising. It is very good for you. Just like the stock market, it's good to take that breather and pull back. It allows you to regroup, think about things, and then it allows you to push ahead even stronger. So this is a good thing for Tesla to go through all of this. Just remember all of the fundamentals, because when we come out of it, we'll be even stronger on the other side because of these fundamental pieces. So that's all I've got for you guys. Let me know in the comments below if you feel that Tesla is going to be achieving level 4 or level 5 autonomy later this year. Me personally, I think it'll be close. I don't know enough about FSD. I have not ridden in it for quite a while, so I don't know the progress it has made, but I follow Omar and lots of other people who give their feedback on it, and it seems like it is making some very significant progress, especially with Dojo coming online very soon, that will be able to gather even more data from all of these vehicles and be able to analyze it and assess all of that information and make it go even faster and progress even faster there. So I think it's possible. I think it's achievable. I would say probably within the next year, I think we are going to get there. And again, I think between 2024 and 2025, the government's going to have to sit down and discuss regulations behind autonomy, because I have a feeling by then it's going to become reality. So thank you guys all so much for watching. I appreciate all of your support. Have a great one.